Friday night baseball in the SEC as we welcome you to Austin, Texas for a top 10 showdown. Tonight we lift the lid off the three-game series featuring number 10 Mississippi State and number 4 Texas at UFCU Disch-Falk Field. Well, the calendar has flipped to May, which means we're in the stretch run of the college baseball regular season. It's a tight race atop the SEC. Georgia and Texas A&M tied in the loss column. Texas and Mississippi State lurking with just a few weeks to go before the conference tournament. Glad you're with us tonight alongside the 13-year pro, Mike Harge. I'm Chris Sylvester. Two Omaha hopefuls clashing here in the Lone Star State this weekend, and they've got some of the top sluggers in the SEC.
It's been impressive to watch both of these teams go about their business. But more importantly, when you get a chance to watch their hitters get to the plate, that's what everybody in the ballpark has come to see. Because once you look at Aiden Robbins and what he has created for himself, you've seen a power surge, big numbers since he came to the University of Texas. And not only is he creating big numbers at the plate, he's making big numbers in his potential draft spot as he continues to bang the baseball. Every week, the way he shows up has been very important. And then you go to Mississippi State. You get a chance to see Ace Reese, another guy that is keep moving up draft boards, not only playing third base, but the numbers he's been able to put up at the plate is making him a dangerous guy in this lineup. You look at those home runs on the season, what'd you say? Second and the most in the conference. Power will be on display this weekend, and I can't wait for these guys to battle it out.
Well, with these two elite pitching staffs, hitting might not be all that easy to come by, especially with the weather conditions tonight. The aforementioned Ace Reese, the starting third baseman for Mississippi State, bats second. 15 homers and 15 doubles, one of only 5 players in Division I college baseball to accomplish that feat. Sullivan, Beavis, Parker, Chance, Teal, Maluski, and Ryder Woodson round out the starting lineup for Mississippi State, and it will be a tall task against the tall left-hander, Dylan Volantis, his third straight Friday night start. And we are underway in Austin, Texas with a called strike to Garrick Fry. It's Eric Gaucher calling the balls and strikes here in the series opener. And for Dylan Volantis, such a shutdown closer, back end of the bullpen arm last year, he has made the transition to being a starting pitcher look almost seamless here in his sophomore season.
That's one of the things that a lot of Texas fans was wondering. He started on Sundays. Now he's the Friday night guy. You want the big man on the mound, and be prepared for that curveball, as he's very serious about that.
Casey Borba stops the ground ball off the bat of Garrick Fry and records the first out of the weekend here in this top 10 showdown between Mississippi State and Texas. Of course, the Longhorns, last year's SEC regular season champions in their first year as members of the conference. They swept Mississippi State in Starkville, but this is a much different looking Bulldog squad coming to Austin to open up the final month of the college baseball regular season. Overshift on for Ace Reese, and he takes the first one upstairs.
I like how you described that, the overshift. I mean, you start to look at it, you got guys playing short rover in right field.
It's all the same here at this field. The infield turf blends in with the outfield turf. And we're grateful for the turf and the drainage system here. It had rained about 24 hours in a row in Austin. And they pushed back the start time in this game an hour, but better late than never to avoid a doubleheader, which Jim Schlossnagle voiced earlier in the week that he was really hoping to avoid. Ace Reese, one of the top hitters in the country, leads the SEC with his 18 doubles, top 10 in homers, top 5 in runs and runs batted in. Swung out of his shoot tops in the count 2-2.
Yeah, he must have been looking for a certain pitch and getting a chance to jump on it. Swung hard, came up short.
Ace Reese in his second year at Mississippi State, a native of Texas from Canton, spent his freshman year at Houston, and has worked a full count here against Dylan Volantis. Reese was last season's SEC Newcomer of the Year, led Mississippi State in batting average and hits. Full count pitch. And Reese taps it foul near the Texas dugout. Weather expected to be much better for the final 2 games of this series. A couple of day games tomorrow and Sunday. And the penultimate home series here in the regular season for Texas. Another payoff coming from Volantis. And a check swing, he did go, but Carson Tinney can't find the baseball. And even a perfect throw would not have gotten Ace Reese, who reaches first base here on a drop third strike.
Yeah, Carson Tinney, one of the best catchers in the country, was not able to keep that ball in front of him. You see, ends up breaking the swing, and then the ball's there. And as he was grabbing for the ball, he knocked it between his legs, and that is why he was able to get on first base.
So it gives the Bulldogs a 1-out base runner for Noah Sullivan. First ball swinging, a line drive just foul down the left field side. Well, that was hooking, and third base umpire Damian Beal right on top of it, signaling foul ball.
We talked about it, got something up in the plate and was able to yank it down the left field line. As you can see, the little pellets popping up let you know that it was a foul ball. Looked like they were being aggressive to attack right away.
Well, Garrett Fry, who made the first out of the game, his ground out to the first baseman Casey Borba left his bat at 102 miles per hour. In Mississippi State, they've had some impressive swings early against Dylan Volantis. Sullivan takes strike 2.
I don't know if you got a chance to look at that mustache by Noah Sullivan. That is very, very impressive.
Well, looks a lot like what we saw back in the day from guys like Raleigh Fingers and Dennis Eckersley. That's a big league mustache. Diving stop. Adrian Rodriguez won't have a play. It's an infield hit for Noah Sullivan. And Mississippi State with some early traffic against Volantis.
Great effort by A-Rod going into the hole. But the one thing about it, he just kept sliding. You know, the field is still a little bit wet. So normally he would probably slide and be able to pop right up. But that time he just kind of kept going and wasn't able to make the play. But he did keep it on the infield.
Couple men on here for the cleanup hitter, Blake Beavis. Sometimes against these elite starting pitchers, you have to get to them early before they get settled in and get into a rhythm. And Mississippi State, the second best team batting average in the SEC behind only Georgia, trying to strike early here in Austin. But Volantis has again found himself in the driver's seat, up 0-2 here against Blake Beavis.
You see that big curveball. There was the numbers that were there. 33% of the time it is his breaking ball, and was able to deliver again.
Check swing. The appeal, no swing, says Travis Eggert, the first base umpire. Blake Beavis is a transfer from Ball State, first team All-MAC last year. Spent the last 3 seasons at Ball State. Big time power, 46 career home runs. And again, able to hold off on a check swing. It's 2-2.
A lot of high leverage pitches in this inning right now for one Dylan Volantis. If you look at it, you see the breaking ball. He's getting guys to get on that front side so they're not being able to get set. Let's see what he decides to do with this pitch right here.
2-2, waved at and missed. Second strikeout for Volantis as he puts away Beavis.
We talked about it, that breaking ball coming out of the sky, and he was able to drop that in. It's tough to lay off of it because he's so tall. You said it, 6'6". The release point is very high, and there he is, 33% on the curveball usage.
2 on, 2 out for Jacob Parker. A lot of guessing for opposing hitters against Dylan Volantis. It says in his transition to a starter after being a back end of the bullpen guy last year, he says he treats every inning like it's the 9th inning. And that's really helped him in this new role for Texas. 1 ball, 1 strike here against Jacob Parker. Volantis last week in Nashville, 6 innings of 1-run baseball in a victory over Vanderbilt. Remember, he didn't pitch in that A&M series. That Sunday game was washed away, and that's when Jim Schlossnagle made the decision to move him up to Friday nights. He certainly has Friday night stuff. As he gets Parker to wave and miss over the top of a big breaking ball, it's 1-2.
You know, things happen for a reason during the season, right? There's certain situations that come up and you got to adjust on the fly. Coach Schlossnagle didn't want him to sit out for 15 days and not get a chance to be on the mound. So what does he do? He moves him into the Friday night, and the rest is all she wrote.
Volantis trying to strand a couple of Bulldogs here in the top of the first. On 1-2, swing and a miss. Parker goes down swinging, 3 strikeouts, and a scoreless top half of the first for Dylan Volantis. Texas will bat next. Number 10, Mississippi State, nothing. Texas coming to bat here in the home half of the first, and Carson Tinney, who was the hero on Tuesday as Texas walked off Sam Houston in a wild 15-14 game, has now hit 9 home runs across his last 13 games and has gotten on base in 20 consecutive.
Yeah, he's impressive in the way that this lineup has been adjusted. They moved Carson Tinney to the number 2 slot early, but later in the season they decided Aiden Robbins needs more at bats, so they moved him to the top of the lineup. You look at what Anthony Pack Jr. has been able to do as a true freshman. Started the season at the bottom, worked his way up to now number 3 in the lineup. The biggest question mark, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, is about this Texas Longhorns bottom of the lineup.
Tomas Valenkis, the starting assignment. Another sophomore left-hander on the other side for Mississippi State. He followed Brian O'Connor over from Virginia, was on the All-ACC freshman team last year. He's been that much better this season with an earned run average just north of 2.
And the stuff that we were talking about Volantis, this is something that you can do right here as well. You see the ability to fill up the strike zone. That is the most impressive part for me. As a left-handed pitcher, you can throw that many strikes. It's going to be tough for the Texas Longhorns today.
Only 14 free passes issued in more than 63 innings for the Lockport, Illinois native. First time these programs have met in Austin since 1983, the Central Regional. Texas would go on to win 2 of 3 over the Diamond Dogs and go on to win the Men's College World Series later that year.
The summer of '83.
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday.
I actually could remember it like it was yesterday.
So Volantis for Texas, Valenkis for Mississippi State. 2 talented underclassmen southpaws will try and outduel one another to lift the lid off this top 10 clash on the 40 acres. Aiden Robbins leads off. The junior from Yardley, Pennsylvania, transferred in from Seton Hall last summer. And takes the firm fastball over the inside edge. 96 miles per hour from Valenkis.
As you mentioned, these are 2 underclassmen pitchers, left-handers, that a lot of scouts are going to be following next season.
It's kind of hard to believe with the stuff they have and the success they've had this year that they've still got to stick around for another year of college baseball. And that is what's made this sport at this level just so fascinating to watch in recent memory. All the talent that winds up playing college baseball instead of playing professionally at a prep school. And that's a result of the Major League Baseball draft being shrunk to just 20 rounds, right?
Yeah, that makes it real tough for a lot of guys. And you think about the draft being shrunk. And then, of course, you got to look at some of the contractual organizations that have now got rid of minor league teams.
Full count here on Aiden Robbins, who's 9th in the SEC in batting average. Top 5 in homers, 9th in RBIs. Went deep Tuesday in that 15-14 win over Sam Houston State. Fouls away the full count pitch. Since the start of SEC play. Aiden Robbins has been a very tough out. The 18 home runs, fourth in the conference, just outside the top 10 in the country. A real complete leadoff man for Jim Schlossnagle in year 2. Swing and a foul tip held on to by Maluski. And Robbins goes down swinging.
You know, we're talking about the dive of that breaking ball. He comes in and he just cuts that right on the batter's right foot, and he couldn't get there. His barrel tried to stay through it, but what a great pitch for him to swing through for out number 1.
Here comes Tuesday's hero, Carson Tinney. He had 2 home runs against Sam Houston. His walk-off blast traveled 463 feet as Texas overcame its 3rd separate deficit of the night. Longhorns trailed by as many as 6 runs in that game. Comeback win for Texas on Tuesday was their largest comeback in a game in 4 years. You just never know what you're going to get in a midweek this time of year.
That's everywhere.
Everywhere. Even for teams that are solidly in the field. You just don't know where the motivation is and what pitchers might be available as you try and save as much as possible for these big weekend series that have so many implications this late in the year. Tinney waves and misses. It's 2-2. Tinney, the junior from Castle Pines in Colorado, spent the last couple years at Notre Dame, was an All-American with the Fighting Irish last year. And takes just off the inside. 96 on the fastball from Valinkis. As Texas has worked another full count here against the Hail State starter.
That pitch did not miss by much either.
On 3-2. Tinney takes strike 3. May have gone around on the check swing anyway, but Valinkis freezes him with the fastball. Strikeouts against the first 2 guys the Southpaw has faced.
We knew coming into this matchup that both of these lefties were going to be impressive. The thing that I'm liking the most about Valinkis is he's coming right after the Texas hitters, and not only that, good tight slider that is failing away from these hitters.
Anthony Pack Jr. takes a called strike. Nobody has hit SEC pitching better than the true freshman out of Southern California. Anthony Pack leads the SEC with a .419 clip against conference pitching. Riding a 16-game hitting streak. He's 6th overall in batting average in the conference, tied for 3rd in doubles. And he has been a nightmare for opposing pitching since the SEC season began.
That's the one thing that you can honestly say about this young man, that he has been a tough out every single time. His approach at the plate has never changed. He stayed strong through the middle, and the fact that he's a true freshman, giving himself an opportunity to be in this lineup every day is impressive.
Couple hits, couple walks on Tuesday for Pack. He scored 3 of the 15 Texas runs. At Millikan High School in Long Beach, California. 2-2. Way off the outside. Adrian Rodriguez would be next. Dylan Volantis struck out 3 hitters in the top of the 1st inning. Tomas Valinkis has a chance to match that here in the home half. On a payoff pitch to Anthony Pack Jr. It just misses for ball 4.
That's what I'm talking about right there. The way that this young man, most young hitters would have probably chased after that pitch and not tried to stay on it. All he did was stay on there. Took a tough pitch to get the walk. Another quality at bat for Anthony Pack Jr.
On base now in 41 of the 43 Texas games this year. Tomas Valinkis doesn't walk many hitters, just the 15th all year to pack. And it gives way to Rodriguez, the cleanup hitter tonight for Texas. Rodriguez, who's been dealing with a hand injury both of his college seasons here on the 40 acres. Really starting to come around of late with his bat. Jim Schlossnagle pointed out that him getting back to himself has been a big boost for this offense. Rodriguez had 4 hits, including a home run last weekend in Nashville. Switch hitter batting right-handed against the southpaw Valinkis. That's what he did the first 26 games this season, then sat out for 8 games. And slowly rounding back into form. This is his 8th game back after missing 8.
You had mentioned the numbers and how he hit his first home run of the season, and that's one of the things that Texas fans noticed. Last year he showed some power, hit the ball in a gap, and this year coming back before the injury, it just looked like he wasn't himself.
There goes Pack on a slow roller to short. Woodson's got to hurry, and just in time to get Rodriguez. So one shortstop throws out the other. And a nice play made by Ryder Woodson as Tomas Valinkis works around the 2-out free pass. Two of the top teams in the SEC, 2 of the top pitching staffs in the conference. Only Auburn ranks ahead of Mississippi State and Texas in team earned run average. And these are 2 top 11 pitching staffs in the country. Dylan Volantis, after a 22-pitch first inning, will deal to Bryce Chance to open the Bulldog half of the second. It was a drop third strike that prolonged the inning as Volantis wound up with 3 punch-outs in his first frame.
Interesting thing about this type of night and this type of weekend with 2 top teams with that type of pitching performance, you have to be locked in at the plate for every single pitch.
Chance flailing after the 1-1, falls behind 1-2. Bryce Chance, one of the longest tenured Bulldogs on this 2026 roster, a 50-year from Ridgeland in Mississippi. Been with the program since the summer of 2021. Just outside the top 10 in the SEC in batting average. Has over 200 hits in his Mississippi State career. Just played in his 200th career game with the Bulldogs Tuesday night as they captured the Governor's Cup against rival Ole Miss. In the air to right field, Aiden Robbins is there to put away the first out of the second. We saw Dylan Volantis rack up 3 strikeouts in the first inning. And it was just a couple weeks ago here against the Crimson Tide. Texas pitching combined for 49 strikeouts in that 3-game series. Mississippi State also had a weekend against South Carolina where they struck out 44 Gamecocks.
You noticed on that graphic, Texas had 2 of those top performances, 49 and 42. That's what I was talking about. That's a tough weekend for batters when you know that you're getting that type of performance off the mound.
Aiden Teal, the center fielder. And Texas back in that picket fence alignment with their defense. 3 infielders to the right of second, leaving Temo Becerra, the third baseman, all by his lonesome on the left side. Fastball runs in tight. Aiden Teal spent the last 3 years with Brian O'Connor at Virginia. He's the younger brother of Kyle Teal, who was a first-round pick out of Virginia back in 2023. Promising young player with the White Sox, currently on the injured list. Aiden homered in the series finale as Mississippi State secured its first sweep over LSU last weekend since 1985. As this one's flared foul down the right field side to fill the count. Been a tough year for the defending champion Tigers. But Mississippi State, they had to come on back in all 3 games of that series at the Dude last weekend.
You know, you mentioned that. It has been a tough year for LSU. And you start to look around, and all season long, I'm sure a lot of folks was like, oh, they'll get it turned around. They'll get it turned around. And it just never really got turned around.
Carson Tinney couldn't hold on to the foul tip. Almost reminiscent of A&M last year.
That's very, very, very true. I mean, you start to look at the program and you expected it to be in the mix, and all of a sudden it just kept spiraling out of control.
Teal back towards the middle, off the glove of Rodriguez. And Mississippi State has its second infield hit early against Dylan Volantis. So with the overshift on, Rodriguez was playing on the second base side of the bag and couldn't get there to stop the hard ground ball off the bat of Teal.
When you say he was on the second base side of the bag, he was practically playing second base at that point. It would have been a tough play for him going away from the bag. But great effort. Again, getting a chance to see a little bit of his range at shortstop.
One out base runner for the backstop, Kevin Maluski. Maluski, teammates with Aiden Robbins the last couple of years at Seton Hall. Junior from Wallingsford, Connecticut. He was the hero last Friday night as he launched a walk-off home run against LSU to open that series. He kind of had an all-or-nothing approach this year. 8 of his 17 hits have gone for extra bases. And he takes a big swing through the 2-0 offering from Volantis.
That's the confidence that Volantis has with his breaking ball, throwing it in a 2-0 count, kind of pitching behind. And as a hitter, you got to put that in the back of your mind for the next time that you come up.
On the move is Teal. Here's the throw in time. Carson Tinney on the money as he catches Aiden Teal trying to steal second base.
You said it perfectly, on the money. The glove was sitting there, and he slid right into it. What a great pop time and great throw. Teal slid right into it on the perfect throw to Mendoza.
5th time this year Aiden Teal has been caught stealing. And that empties the bases. Allows Volantis to face the minimum if he can get Maluski. He does. Over the inside edge. It's strike 3 looking. The 4th punch out for the sophomore left-hander. No score as we head to the bottom of the 2nd. Tomas Valenkis out there for his 2nd inning of work after striking out a couple Longhorns atop the lineup card in the 1st.
You saw the slider go down into the back foot of Aiden Robbins, and then you saw it stay up a little bit and backed up on Carson Tinney. 2 of the best hitters in this University of Texas lineup with 2 Ks to start off the ballgame.
LSU was able to knock out Valenkis in the 4th inning last Friday night. Although a lot of it wasn't really his fault. Gave up 8 hits, 7 runs. Only 3 were earned. Ethan Mendoza fouls away the first one from the left-hander. Number 2 ranked transfer per D1 baseball in the offseason. A lot of who's became Bulldogs as Brian O'Connor left Virginia after 22 seasons at the helm. A move that surprised a lot of people around college baseball. Not because Mississippi State isn't a great job, just because he had a good thing going at Virginia for more than 2 decades.
Well, you mentioned it, the ability to get to the College World Series, 7 career appearances, was a champion. But as you mentioned, they were very, very consistent with his time there.
Mendoza foul tips the 2-1 offering. It's 2-2. Ethan Mendoza has picked up hits in 5 straight. 5 RBIs across his last couple of games and worked 3 walks against Sam Houston on Tuesday. Has worked a full count here against Tomas Valinkis.
So far, that seems to be the theme, right? 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. They've worked the count.
Second year for Mendoza at Texas after spending his freshman year at Arizona State with Willie Bloomquist. It's a return to Mendoza's home state. He's from Bedford. And he hits that one hard. It's fair. Into the left field corner. Ethan Mendoza opens the home half of the second with a double.
Ethan Mendoza fouled off a couple tough pitches, laid off one. Got a breaking ball up in the strike zone and was able to smash it down the left field line. If you look at this breaking ball, it stays up in the heart of the plate, and he was able to get the barrel there, foot down, good swing down the line.
.105 miles per hour off his bat. His 11th double of the season, first hit for Texas. And an opportunity for the Longhorns to strike first. Temo Becerra bats next and takes the first one upstairs. Becerra starting at third base for Texas tonight. A 5th year from Clovis in Central California. Spent the last 4 years at Stanford.
Temo Becerra transferred to the University of Texas. A lot of folks thought he was going to play shortstop because that's where he naturally played. But when he came to Texas, they moved him over to third, and he's done a really good job at the third base position.
Becerra graduated from Stanford. Now working on his 2nd degree here on the 40 acres. Hit .330 last year with the Cardinal. Their first season as members of the ACC. And a little late on the 2-0 fastball. He fouls it away. Penultimate homestand of the regular season for Texas. They'll go to Rocky Top next weekend for their final road series of conference play. Longhorns have been tough to beat here this season. 23-3 at home. Just one back in the loss column from Georgia and A&M for the top spot in the SEC. Mississippi State just a couple back as Becerra takes ball 3.
You know, coming into the weekend looking at this matchup, we knew the implications coming into it. The series is very important for both of these teams as far as seedings and national rankings.
Full count on the Texas third baseman, Temo Becerra. Ashton Larson's on deck. Well, Mississippi State, they've really turned it on after being swept back-to-back weekends by Georgia and Tennessee. They've won 9 straight. And again, they check on Mendoza back there at second base, trying to keep him as close as possible. This is a Texas team that'll try and take the extra base. 79 stolen bags for the Longhorns this year. That's 30 more than Mississippi State. As that'll move Mendoza over to third as Fry throws out Becerra for the first out of the second. productive first out. He'll get some high fives from his teammates. The top of the order has carried Texas to this top 5 ranking into the final month of the college baseball regular season. There is a significant drop-off when you get to this bottom third, and Jim Schlossnagle is hoping a couple of these guys come around before the postseason.
And this is one of those situations that Coach Schlossnagle has talked about, and even Coach O'Connor. You got to be able to drive runs in at the bottom of the lineup to be able to have success. Both pitchers, as we talked about, it's going to be a tough night on the mound, and you get a chance to look at it right now. Coach O'Connor has pulled his infield in because he knows that runs are going to be at a premium tonight.
It's ball 2 to Ashton Larson, who's 7 for 20 this year with runners in scoring position.
You can see right there how they've got the infield set up to be able to cut that run off at home plate. Got to make quality pitches, but you also got to remember this. First base is open, and they might be able to set up a double play, and might be thinking set up a double play.
Brief discussion between Maluski and Tomas Valinkis, who surrendered a leadoff double to Ethan Mendoza. Now he's at third base with 1 out as the Longhorns try and hit the run column first. Ashton Larson, a newcomer to this Texas squad, a transfer from LSU, was on that national title team a year ago. Ground ball right side under the glove of Fry. He'll recover for the out at first, but it's an RBI ground out for Ashton Larson, and Texas has the night's first run.
You said it a minute ago with Timo Becerra. He gets half of that RBI right there. Another productive out, situational hitting, and that's something that's going to play a part of it, especially in games like this where both pitchers are at the top of their game.
Texas manufacturing the first night of the run. The leadoff double, the ground ball to the right side of the infield, and the ground ball to bring home Mendoza. As Casey Borba bats with the bases empty and 2 outs. Borba, a home run on Tuesday against Sam Houston. Jim Schlossnagle was at the top step of the dugout to greet him after he rounded the bases, hoping that Casey Borba can start to catch some fire here down the stretch of the regular season.
Yeah, his month of April was not his strongest month here lately. And now the calendar, as you mentioned, the calendar has changed, and so they're looking for something a little bit different from Casey Borba.
11 home runs this year for Borba, his 3rd year with the program. 27 in his Texas career. Valinkis in front, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. His 3rd strikeout, but Texas strikes first. And Ethan Mendoza leadoff double comes around. And it's 1-0 after 2. Brian O'Connor, the first-year coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Kind of fitting that he played his college ball in Omaha. He took Virginia there 7 times and led them to the 2015 Men's College World Series Championship. And on June 1st, almost a year ago, 11 months to the day, O'Connor shocked the college baseball world and took the job at Mississippi State. And he has quickly gotten the Bulldogs back on track. They are an Omaha contender this year. There's no question about it.
When you start to look at this team and what he was able to do, yes, he did bring some players over from Virginia, but it's the leadership. You start looking at those numbers, 22 seasons there, 109 major league draft picks during his time there, wins a national championship. And to your point, this is a team that looks poised to make that run. First, you got to get through the SEC tournament, but you start looking at placements and where the field is going to be set up. They're set up for success.
Ball and a strike here on Ryder Woodson, the shortstop, as Volantis delivers strike 2. I think the most encouraging piece for Mississippi State is how they've played lately. 9 straight wins coming into this series. They do have a gauntlet to finish the SEC regular season schedule before the conference tournament. As it looked like Woodson committed on that swing, and sure enough he did. It's the 5th strikeout for Dylan Volantis, 1 time through the order.
You start to look at it. We talked about the usage on that curveball. It's his go-to pitch. You know it's going to be there. It's just tough to see it because it's so good every single time.
Back to the top of the card, Gehrig Fry, who grounded it out to open the game. Swings at the first ball here. A backhand from Mendoza, and he throws across his body to get Fry for the second out. Nice play made by Ethan Mendoza. And as Volantis needs just 1 pitch to retire Gehrig Fry for a second time tonight. Jim Schlossnagle, north of 1,000 career wins, has taken his various teams to Omaha 7 times, still fighting for that title. Got so close a couple years ago, but 9 times Conference Coach of the Year, including his first season here on the 40 acres. Jim Schlossnagle, who just coached his 100th game at Texas, picked up 77 wins in the first 100, the second most, 2 behind Cliff Gustafson, who won 79 games through his first 100 here at Texas.
I think Coach Gus knew exactly what he was doing here at the University of Texas. You talk about the championships and what he was able to do. And, of course, Coach Schlossnagle trying to get a national championship. But you mentioned it. You look at those numbers, it's nothing short of impressive. The way he's gone about his business. Everywhere he goes, he wins and has always, always shown up every single step of the way. Even when he was at UNLV, he turned that program around.
I remember when he took the job at TCU, they were a Mountain West program. It helped them elevate their status into the Big 12 before leaving for College Station. 2-2 here on Ace Reese, who reached on a drop third strike back in the first inning. He homered in all 3 games last weekend against LSU and has 5 across his last 8. Volantis puts him away. Challenged him with the 2-strike fastball. And Dylan Volantis is rolling through 3 scoreless innings tonight in Austin.
Very, very impressive. We talked about his breaking ball. There we get to see his little cutter and striking out number 6 during this game.
Better late than never. The original start time in this game was pushed back an hour due to rain showers in the area, but we're playing here on a Friday night in Austin. Number 10 Mississippi State, number 4 Texas. First of 3 this weekend between the Bulldogs and Longhorns. And Aiden Robbins scheduled to bat second here in the home half of the third. Has been on a tear across his last 10.
You start looking at Aiden Robbins and what he represents. This is a guy that came over from Seton Hall, and man, oh man, he's putting up some big old numbers. Somebody that you start to believe has made himself some money, but more importantly, he's shown that he can hit at this level in the SEC.
Quickly climbing up draft boards as the Major League Baseball draft gets a little bit closer. Maddox Mansour, freshman, getting an opportunity in center field tonight, just his 8th start of the season. 7 hits and 39 at-bats. Texas as a team this year hitting slightly better against right-handed pitching compared to Southpaws. 303 as a team against right-handers, 288 against left-handers checking in. Mansour 4 for 13 against Southpaws. As he puts this one in the air, foul territory, first base side, it's Beavis near the Texas dugout for the first out. Back to the top of the card, it's Aiden Robbins for a second time. And he's the Texas leader in runs, hits, homers, RBIs, slugging percentage. Just about everything you care about when you're looking at hitter statistics.
Well, it goes back to the conversation we were having just a minute ago when we were highlighting him on deck. This was a guy that hit over 400 last season at Seton Hall. Now he's getting an opportunity at this big level. And you start to see it right there.
Jacob Parker with a terrific running catch as he braces for impact before the fence in front of the Texas bullpen to make the catch on that fly ball off the bat of Aiden Robbins.
You talked about it. Parker right there getting a great jump on that line drive. The ball looked like it was going to beat him. He had a great jump and a great beat on the ball and makes an outstanding play going up against the wall.
105 miles per hour off the bat of Aiden Robbins. 2 down for Carson Tinney, who struck out looking his only time. Tinney, another name that has climbed up some draft boards of late, being talked about as having some of the best raw power among draft eligible juniors here this season.
You talked about it a little while ago, the walk-off home run, 463 feet. And then you looked at his non-conference to where he is during SEC play. It's a guy that's very, very consistent and has shown the ability to drive the ball to all parts as well.
1-1 pitch over the outside edge. Tomas Valinkis, just 1 hit allowed. It was a double off the bat of Ethan Mendoza to open the second. And Texas Tech was able to push him across to lift the lid off the scoring. On 1-2 to Carson Tinney. Hit in the air to left center field. And the ballpark will hold it. Aiden Teal, shy of the warning track, makes the catch. It ain't easy to get a ball up out of UFCU Dish Falk Field tonight with the weather conditions. Ruger Riojas expected to pitch tomorrow. We'll chat with the Texas starter on the other side. Back in Austin, Texas, series opener tonight in the SEC. Number 4 Texas up 1-0 over number 10 Mississippi State. Ruger Riojas, senior right-hander, scheduled to start game 2 of the series tomorrow afternoon and joins us now. Ruger, how are you enjoying this elite pitching matchup tonight? Obviously pulling for your guys against Tomas Valinkis, but Dylan Volantis has missed a lot of bats in this game.
Of course, you know, we don't expect anything less from Dylan. He's an amazing talent, amazing kid, and a great competitor, and there's nobody else I'd rather have out there on the mound right now.
Ruger, I wanted to ask you, you talk about what Dylan Volantis is doing right now, what he's been able to do since he's been into this new role as a starter. What has impressed you the most about the way he goes about his business?
Yeah, he doesn't overthink anything. It's a very minimal headspace. He focuses on what's most important to him at the right times, and it shows on the field. You know, when he's on the mound, he isn't worried about outcomes or anything like that. It's just the pitch, and that's that process.
Now, Dylan Volantis, he's missed a lot of bats tonight. You've missed a ton of bats this season. 89 strikeouts in 55 2/3 innings. As your teammate picks up another one here, he's already got 7 through 3 1/3 tonight. What's your best 2-strike put-away pitch?
I trust all 7 of them, or 8. I don't know, but yeah, I'm pretty ride or die on Max's pitch calling. So whatever he calls, I'm willing to throw. But I do have equal love for all my shapes and any count.
We're talking to Ruger Riojas, tomorrow's starting pitcher. When you look at this team, Mississippi State coming in, obviously the truth is you fear no one, you want to attack everyone. But looking at that lineup and understanding that there's a lot of power and a lot of different types of hitters, this is a big challenge for the pitching staff this weekend, right?
I mean, the job doesn't change. We're up there to throw, they're up there to swing. It hasn't changed since the beginning of the season. Sure, there's teams with more talented guys, like of course Mississippi State. They have a great lineup, but I mean, that's not our job to focus on that. Our job up there is to compete one pitch at a time and leave it all out on the field.
Ball and 2 strikes here on the Mississippi State cleanup hitter Blake Beavis. It'll be your 12th start of the season tomorrow. What's a game day look like for you before you get to the yard? It's an afternoon start. Is there a specific breakfast that you try and take down before each start, or a pregame playlist that you listen to?
Yeah, I'd say the music stays pretty normal. I mean, I don't have anything too specific when I'm, driving to the field. I always get my cold brew, though. There's a little coffee shop down the road about a mile south here, so I'll go there almost every morning, go get a cold beer or two, and, work on that on my way to the field.
Ruger, I wanted to ask you, too. Brett Crossland talks about the rookie on the ox. How is it that he is the one that gets to pick the music every single day?
He knows ball. He knows a lot of songs. He's got great tracks. He's got good playlists going. He knows when to bring the right vibes at the right time. He's got a very knowledgeable base when it comes to music, and he's very open to our suggestions too. So I mean, he's honestly really, really good on the Mill Auxiliary.
Dylan Volantis in front of Jacob Parker here at 0-2. And he strikes him out swinging. Well, Ruger, your teammate made it a quick top half of the fourth inning as he strikes out the side. Good luck tomorrow. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Brian O'Connor will try and figure some things out for his offense against Dylan Volantis, who's on cruise control tonight. As expected, it's been a pitcher's duel tonight in the series opener. Number 10, Mississippi State. Number 4, Texas. Pleased to be joined by the Diamond Dogs skipper, Brian O'Connor, in his first season after 22 terrific years in Charlottesville with the Virginia Cavaliers. And your ball club playing as well as it has all season. 9 straight wins. What's been going good for you guys lately?
Well, we just have had a tough competitive offensive approach and have just hung in there throughout games. And, at times we've gotten really good starting pitching, but our bullpen's been very, very good over the last couple of weeks.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, because you pulled your infield in early in this ball game. That is something that we were talking about on the broadcast, talking about how this game is going to be a low-scoring game, so you wanted to cut that off early. Was that the thought process?
Well, for sure, that was a big part of it. Also, too, was Larson splits against left-handers. And so it was a combination of that, right? You got these 2 starting pitchers matched up. You believe it's going to be a low-scoring game, and just trying to do everything we could to keep Texas off the scoreboard.
Brian O'Connor, thanks so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the night and the rest of the weekend.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Well, Tomas Valinkis is doing his best to try and match Dylan Volantis pitch by pitch here tonight. He's only allowed 1 hit that led to the lone run of the game so far, back in the second for Texas. 2-2 to Anthony Pack Jr., who worked to walk his only time. 22 games consecutively for Pack on base safely. And has already added to that total with his first inning walk. Needs a base hit to stretch that streak to 17. As he takes ball 4 for a second time tonight. Leadoff base runner for Texas.
Another good at bat by Anthony Pack Jr., lefty on lefty. You start to see that he is very keen of the strike zone because of the way that this young man has been playing all season long. If you're new to the Texas baseball team, you get a chance to see a freshman doing amazing things. But like we were talking about during the break, I'm liking what I see from Valinkis. He is one of those guys that is not afraid to pound that strike zone, and he's attacking right away.
Adrian Rodriguez takes strike 1. Rodriguez, a ground out his only time. Cleanup hitter for Texas tonight. Longhorns were able to manufacture that run in the second and try and do the same thing to add on to their lead here in the bottom of the 4th. Anthony Pack Jr., always a threat to run over there, leads the team with 16 stolen bases and was on the move when Adrian Rodriguez grounded out. And again, Valinkis will try and keep Anthony Pack Jr. close over there. Valinkis matching his season high in walks with the second one to Anthony Pack Jr. Hasn't walked more than 2 guys in a start this year. And like you said, he hangs around the strike zone and still finds a way to miss bats. 3 strikeouts in 3+ innings for Valinkis tonight. Comes home on 0-1 as Rodriguez drops down a bunt. Right back to Valinkis, his only play to first. As Rodriguez sacrifices Anthony Pack Jr. to second with 1 down. Tomas Valinkis last year in 12 starts at Virginia, 6-1 with an earned run average just north of 4.5. Been that much better this year against arguably better hitting.
That's why I've been impressed with what he's been able to do. The fact of the matter is he gets on the mound and he's attacking the strike zone. He's making you put the ball in play and get yourself out. And if you can't, as you saw with the 87 strikeouts that he has, that's very impressive for this young man.
And a start against Vanderbilt earlier this year where he struck out 14. Ethan Mendoza has the only Texas hit. A double that left his bat at 105 miles per hour and went into the left field corner back in the second. Would score on an Ashton Larson RBI ground out. And that's the difference in the game. Mendoza has now hit safely in 6 straight as he waves through the 1-0 offering from the southpaw Valinkis.
You know, they're paying a lot of attention to Anthony Pack Jr. He's 16 of 17 on the season, but 8 of 8 in SEC play as the stolen bases.
Mendoza 333 this year with men in scoring position. As again, Valinkis tries to keep Anthony Pack Jr. at arm's length away from the bag at second.
He's only been caught stealing once this season.
Mendoza fouls it back right near Temo Becerra in the on-deck circle. Tomas Valinkis from Lockport, Illinois, just south of Chicago, went to high school in Tennessee, where he was the Gatorade State Player of the Year his senior season. Into left center field. And Bryce Chance gets there to put away the second out. Well, the ball just not carrying tonight at UFCU Dish Falk Field. Hey, the SEC softball tournament gets underway Tuesday at 1 Eastern on SEC Network. Live from Lexington, coverage begins with SEC Now at 12:30, and all games from the tournament are available to stream on the ESPN app. Texas softball across the way, hosting Arkansas. That was supposed to be an early afternoon start time, but because of all the rain we had in Austin over the last 24 hours, that got pushed back to a 7 o'clock start time. The defending national champion Longhorns trying to round into form right on the cusp of the SEC softball tournament. Arkansas is up in that game. Four 3 in the bottom of the 5th.
We're still thinking about Anthony Pack. He's jumping around on second base, just trying to be a little distraction. But the one thing I'm not worried about with Valinkis is his focus towards the plate. If you look at those numbers, he is continuing to find the strike zone.
That's off the glove of Maluski, and Pack, he almost overslid the bag, but he's safe. Ace Reese tried to keep that tag on him. And Anthony Pack Jr. As that ball deflected off the glove of Milewski, the catcher immediately broke for third base.
It's a great read on the advancement to third. He almost slid past the bag, but he was able to keep his toe right there, and Reese tried to push it off, but to no avail.
0-2. Another one that kicks away from Milewski, but not far enough for Pack to think about darting to the plate. Leadoff walk now at third base with 2 outs. Becerra bounced out his only time. 2-2.
It's a tough pitch to lay off of.
Sure is.
Great location.
I think Valinkis might go back there. 2-2 to the Stanford transfer. He did go back there, and this time it's strike 3 called right at the bottom of Eric Gaucher's strike zone. Texas leaves that leadoff walk at third base. It remains 1-0 after 4. Dylan Volantis has 9 strikeouts through 4 innings tonight.
And we've seen an array of pitches. You see that curveball, one of his go-to pitches. Then he comes in with the cutter. He's been missing in none of those spots. He's been making sure that every batter comes to the plate with a game plan. But right now, that game plan is not working. Dylan Volantis on fire early in this ball game. 9 Ks through 4 innings. Impressive start for the big fella.
Struck out the side in the 4th inning while we were talking to tomorrow's Texas starting pitcher, Ruger Riojas, and he did that on 10 pitches. He flirted with an immaculate inning.
I don't think I've ever been a part of one of those. That would have been impressive.
That would have been cool. I mean, the way he's rolling, he might just do it here in the 5th. He's been racking up the strikeouts over his last couple of starts. He's gone 6 innings in each of those. Pitch count relatively manageable, just through his 61st. And no immaculate inning here as it misses to Bryce Chance. 23 punch outs across his last 2 starts. Wins against Bama and Vandy. Mississippi State, they do have 2 hits in the game, a couple of infield singles. Only real threat for the Diamond Dogs in this game was putting 2 on with 1 out in the 1st inning, but Volantis quickly cooled that off with back-to-back punch-outs to end the frame. Brian O'Connor hoping his team can have better luck in the back end of this series opener against Volantis and this Texas pitching staff. And there's ball 3. We haven't seen Volantis fall behind many hitters tonight.
Still going with the breaking ball, though. Not being afraid to continue to throw it.
Hit the other way, past Casey Borba. It's an opposite field knock for Bryce Chance to open the Bulldog 5th.
That is a great piece of hitting by Bryce Chance. Got a pitch over on the outer third and just went with it. Hit it hard past a diving Casey Borba. Great piece of hitting right there by that young man.
The 5th year from Mississippi with his 217th career hit in a Bulldog uniform. There's a called strike to Aiden Teal, who reached on an infield base hit his only time. Swing and a miss. Volantis looking for his 10th strikeout tonight. But not before a check-in on Bryce Chance over there at first base. Chance does lead the club with 10 stolen bags this year. He's only been caught stealing 3 times, although Hayden Teal tried to test Carson Tinney back in the second and was thrown out at second base. 3 infielders to the right of second. Here's the 0-2, and it's fouled back.
Stayed on that really well. Kept his hands inside that to battle it off, to foul off, get another one.
Another foul ball off the bat of the Mississippi State center fielder. Mississippi State, with a win tonight, they would match their total from all of last season. 36-23 last year, and even 15-15 in the SEC. As Teal swings and misses, it's the 10th strikeout for Dylan Volantis.
You know he has good movement on his pitches when Carson Tinney is having a tough time catching it. You see the ball moving down. Teal swings over it, and Carson Tinney tries to backhand that and hits the heel of his glove. Another great pitch by Dylan Volantis.
It's the 3rd straight start that Volantis has had at least 10 strikeouts, and he's done it in just 4 1/3 innings tonight. As Kevin Malewski, the catcher, digs in. He was a strikeout victim his only time back in the second. That is strike 1. I don't think it's any coincidence that since Volantis has moved into this Friday night role, he's started to strike out even more hitters. 0-2 quickly here on Malewski. No chase there as Chance breaks for second. Got a great jump with that ball in front of Carson Tinney and takes second base on what will more than likely be ruled a wild pitch.
It was a great read for a ball in the dirt. He had a good secondary, saw it down, and made a great jump to get in scoring position right now.
It is ruled a wild pitch. So here's a chance for the Bulldogs with a runner in scoring position, less than 2 outs. And it's 2-2 on the catcher, Malewski. And 3 hits and a couple RBIs against Ole Miss on Tuesday in Pearl. Neutral site game as Mississippi State finished the regular season 4-0 against their rivals from Oxford. Here's the 2-2. Full count. Ryder Woodson, the shortstop, batting 9th tonight, on deck.
When we talked to Coach O'Connor, one of the things he was talking about runs being a premium. That's why it was a great read by Chance to get to second base to give himself an opportunity to score with a base hit.
That's in the dirt. First free pass issued by Volantis. Malewski was down 0-2 in that count and came back to watch 4 wide ones to work the base on balls.
Very patient at bat right there to work his way through that to get that walk. Now you got runners on first and second with 1 out. Big opportunity here for the Bulldogs.
It's Ryder Woodson who struck out swinging in the 3rd. Woodson from Naples, Florida, spent last year at NC State. Only got 30 at-bats as a true freshman with the Wolfpack at 10 hits. 1 for 8 with a couple walks against LSU pitching last weekend. As it takes a healthy hack through the 0-1. Woodson is the son of Kerry Woodson, who appeared in 8 major league games with the Seattle Mariners in 1992.
Great take and a good miss by Dylan Volantis.
In the air to right center field. Aiden Robbins camps under it as Chance tags, and the throw to third base cut off. So 2 outs in the inning. Bulldogs have him at the corners, and Garrick Fry will see Dylan Volantis for a third time. First time in this game that Mississippi State has had a runner at third base.
Big opportunity right here. The way that Dylan Volantis' breaking ball is staying down, it is important for Carson Tenney to make sure that he keeps it in front of him if it does come up short. But Chance has been running the bases really, really well, and he normally gets a good jump off of third base. It can be close at the plate.
Here comes Max Weiner, the pitching coach, who led Texas to the 6th lowest earned run average in the country last year. Longhorn pitching staff, the 3rd lowest earned run average in the SEC this season. A big spot here against the top of the order. Garrick Fry has put the ball in play a couple of times against Dylan Volantis tonight, and all of a sudden this has become a 20-plus pitch inning for the Texas starter. As you look at where Texas ranks among the top pitching staffs in the country.
That's tough right there when you start to look at the starting pitching led by Dylan Volantis, Ruby Riojas, unbelievable to start the year, and then Luke Harrison. But also look at the bullpen and what they've been able to do throughout the season. Pretty even numbers by both sides.
Ball 1 to Garrick Fry, who twice has grounded out against Dylan Volantis tonight. Riding a 6-game hitting streak. Has put together a nice stretch during this 9-game Mississippi State winning streak. 1 ball, 1 strike. 5th year from Alpharetta, Georgia. 2nd year with the Bulldogs after 3 years at North Alabama.
Guy you want at the plate, especially the way that he's been swinging the bat lately.
Taps the 1-1 pitch foul. That's been one of the Bulldogs' top hitters with runners in scoring position. A .353 clip this season. But he's in a not so hitter friendly count here on 1 and 2 against Dylan Volantis. The reigning national and SEC freshman of the year trying to keep this 1-0 lead intact. Here's the 1-2. Swing and another foul ball off the bat of Fry.
The runner was off with that pitch at first base. They were trying to put some action in motion.
'86th pitch of the night from Volantis. In the dirt, taking off for second base, and well, he was wanting to draw a throw. Kevin Milewski was trying to bait Carson Tenney from letting it go towards the middle of the infield, but Tenney kept it in his back pocket. That does take away the force out up the middle, and now base hit to the outfield could give the Bulldogs a lead. So 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, and the 2-2. Off the outside, Ace Reese, very dangerous hitter, waits in the on-deck circle. Even with the open base here, there's no intention of pitching around Garrick Fry. Payoff. Swing and a miss. Elevated the fastball, and Fry is the 11th strikeout victim of Dylan Volantis tonight.
Unbelievable performance by this young man with the high fastball.
The real fun just getting started.
Run straight for the breakaway.
The celebration is on.
Well, the postseason is near this college baseball year. D1 Baseball's early week release for the projected field of 64 has a bunch of SEC teams in the field, including 7 1 seeds potentially hosting. A number of others, Alabama, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Arkansas, all in contention to host with a few weekends left of conference play. And Vandy, the last team in D1 Baseball's latest projection. They also have Kentucky among the first 4 out. But well, the hype around this conference is real this season. 5 teams in the top 10, 10 in the top 25.
Very impressive. The most impressive part was all the number ones for the chance to be able to host the regionals.
Ashton Larson has knocked in the night's only run. An RBI ground out in the second. Tomas Valinkis, there's one blemish on his line, has been just as good as Dylan Volantis outside of that. Only 1 hit allowed. Very defensive swing on 0-2 from Ashton Larson. Bottom third of the Texas batting order scheduled here in the home half of the 5th. Casey Borba, Maddox, Mansour to follow. We're keeping a close eye on the Texas bullpen to see if the night is over for Dylan Volantis, who threw almost 30 pitches in the top half of the inning, but was able to strand a couple in scoring position. You tend to think his night might be over.
Yeah, just looking at the numbers and where he's been all season long, 87 pitches is something that I'm not used to seeing when it comes to Dylan Volantis.
On 1-2, Larson lunging and missing. It's the 5th strikeout tonight for Tomas Valinkis.
Valinkis may not have the strikeout numbers, but he is definitely going pitch for pitch.
Look at the SEC teams among tops in the RPI. Texas right in front of A&M and Alabama and Auburn. Mississippi State just outside the top 10. That ball's drilled to left center field off the bat of Casey Borba, but with the wind pushing in from center field, nothing is carrying out that direction tonight. I think you'll see the ball carry much better tomorrow afternoon and on Sunday.
You would think that if you start to look around and look at these flags in center field, you can see that it's not going to carry much tonight.
Back towards the middle and through into center field. Maddox Mansour has a 2-out hit for Texas. Only the Longhorns' second knock of the night against Tomas Valinkis.
He knew Valinkis was coming right after him, and he jumped on the first pitch that he saw and hit it right back up the box.
That gives the top of the order a chance. And Aiden Robbins, who's been one of the top hitters in the country this year, will face Valinkis for a 3rd time with Mansour at first base. There's a called strike. Robbins a strikeout and a fly ball to deep right field that left his bat at 105 miles per hour his last time. Jacob Parker made a nice running catch in front of the fence. Big time power in the bat of the junior Aiden Robbins. Over a 10.5% chance that his plate appearance will wind up a home run. That's good for 2nd in the SEC. The best bet tonight, probably right field.
That would be the only way. I mean, he's impressive. He's got power. We showed his numbers at the Open, but the way that the ball has been dying when you hit it to any part of the outfield so far, it'll let you know you got to have big power to get that.
Mansour on the move. The pitch a called strike, and he's safe. stolen base for Maddox Mansour. His 5th of the season. For Texas as a team, their 80th stolen base of the year. Runner in scoring position for Robbins. And he takes low and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. These are the moments in which Aiden Robbins has delivered. 18 hits in 40 at-bats this year with a runner in scoring position. That's a .450 average. On 2-2. Hits it hard but foul. They do have an open base at first, but it's kind of like pick your poison with Robbins at the plate and Carson Tinney on deck.
The way that Valenkis has been pitching, he's going right after him.
Another 2-2. No, not quite yet. Valenkis has kept extra attention on Texas base runners tonight. Trying to keep them as close as possible. Reached for. Into right center field. It's down. Base hit. Mansour scores. 2-0 Texas. Aiden Robbins comes through again. Another base hit with a runner in scoring position.
Mansour kept the inning alive by hitting the ball up the middle, getting a steal, putting himself in scoring position. And then you get a chance to see Aiden Robbins stay on a pitch that might not have even been in the zone, but he stayed out there and was strong enough to flip it out in the right center field for an RBI. And now Texas is up 2-0.
Back-to-back 2-out hits. And in large part to the stolen base. Texas, they've really manufactured both of their runs tonight. And they've had to against such a talented arm in Tomas Valenkis. Here's Carson Tinney. Aiden Robbins now 19 for 41 this year with teammates in scoring position. Just knocked in his 47th run of the season. That leads Texas, and it's good for 9th best in the SEC. Any hitless and 2 at-bats tonight. And they've got Robbins. If anybody covers second base, he didn't slide, and he's safe anyway. Boy, Ryder Woodson, the shortstop, was late getting to the bag at second. It looked like Mississippi State had Aiden Robbins caught up in a rundown, and he beats the throw.
That's one of the things, too. I mean, you start to look at what happened right there. As a runner, you know you got to get down, and it could have been a very dangerous play in that situation.
That's on the inside corner to Carson Tinney. Oh, with all the throws we've seen Valenkis make to bases tonight to try and keep runners close, Texas has stayed aggressive.
Makes a good move to first base, gets him in, picked off, but his shortstop was playing such a deep short that he wasn't able to get to the bag in time.
Ball 2 to Carson Tinney. Right now, the Texas bullpen is quiet. So Dylan Volantis, who's got 11 strikeouts, nearing 90 pitches on the night, looks like he'll go back out there for the top of the 6th. And he's been given a little larger of a lead here with Texas tacking on another run in the 5th. And now Carson Tinney hit by a pitch. The 2-1 offering comes inside, gets a piece of the Texas catcher. to put 2 men on for Anthony Pack Jr. Now comes Justin Parker, the third-year pitching coach, who was the interim head coach the final month of last season after Chris Lemonis was relieved of his duties. So Marham's starting to stretch down there in the Hale State bullpen, tossing around the pigskin a little bit. This is the second best pitching staff behind only Auburn in the SEC, 7th in the country in ERA, walks, hits per innings pitched, and top 3 in strikeouts per 9 and strikeout to walk ratio. Although Texas, they've been able to figure some things out here with 2 gone in the 5th. Maddox Mansour, a base hit with 2 outs, then he stole a base. Aiden Robbins knocked him in on a run-scoring single before Carson Tinney was hit by a pitch. And here's Anthony Pack Jr., who's walked twice. Valinkis has been very careful with the freshman. And he's hit by a pitch. Well, hold on here. Eric Gaucher is going to review it. I think Anthony Pack Jr. kind of sold that to the home plate umpire because Eric Gaucher didn't signal anything until Anthony Pack Jr. started walking his way towards first base.
Now the play is going to be under review to make sure that he did hit him.
So the call on the field is not a hit by pitch, and Texas is challenging that it is one. If Texas gets this to go in their favor, they'll have the bases loaded for Adrian Rodriguez, the cleanup hitter.
This ball did just keep running on the inner third of the plate, and it looked like it did not hit him. Looked like it might have missed him. He tried to sell it, but it did not look like it hit him.
It's a good thing Anthony Pack Jr. is a better baseball player than a salesman. No, I don't know. I mean, the call on the field is not a hit by pitch. We believe. We couldn't hear that audio coming from the umpire. Remember, any part of the jersey would count as well. Any equipment piece, although it's very tough to tell if that even grazed the front of Anthony Pack Jr.'s jersey. And the way Anthony Pack Jr. is swinging around the bat, I think even he knows that he'll be back in the batter's box after this video review.
And is going to send everybody back to the bases probably.
And that'd be first and second base. Right now, the 2 runners standing on second and third.
And from the looks of everything, it doesn't look like they can actually hear what is happening at this point. If it did, it grazed, barely grazed that elbow pad that he had.
Well, the issue here for Anthony Pack Jr. in Texas is the call on the field is working against them. That's kind of a strange buildup because the pitch came inside. Pack started walking towards first base. Eric Gaucher, the home plate umpire, immediately started conversing with Jim Schlossnagel, who had signaled the challenge call from the first base Texas dugout.
And it also, kind of changed the flow of the ball game as well.
3 straight 2-out base runners and a run across for Texas here in the home half of the 5th. Dylan Volantis has silenced the Bulldog bats through 5 scoreless. Looks like he'll be back out there for the 6th inning, but now the layover in between frames growing a little bit longer for the Texas starting pitcher. Does that maybe graze the elbow guard of Anthony Pack Jr.? I mean, can you conclusively say that it did? I mean, we're zooming in as much as possible.
And that's the thought, too. I mean, you said it. The original call is not a hit by pitch. And if it's not definitive, then it's not going to work.
The no hit by pitch. Texas, the no hit by pitch is confirmed. Texas loses the challenge. It has one challenge left.
To your point, the definitiveness of it all.
Yeah. I'm surprised they were able to confirm it, that it didn't clip any part of his equipment. But. So the runner's back to first and second with 2 outs. Anthony Pack Jr. A couple base on balls against Tomas Valinkis tonight. And all of a sudden Valinkis is nearing 90 pitches himself. That's in there for a strike, 1-1. During this 16-game hitting streak for the true freshman Anthony Pack Jr., he's hit almost 500. Line drive and a base hit left field. Robbins rounds third. Here's the throw from Chance. It's cut off. 3-0 Texas. The hitting streak grows to 17. And the lead grows to 3-0 for the Longhorns.
We talked about it earlier. We showed them the numbers. They've been keeping us on tabs. This young man has been outstanding as a true freshman, being able to battle back, especially when originally he wanted to take the base by acting like he got hit, but then he stays in there, drives the ball to left field. That's the beauty of what he's been able to do all season long. He uses the entire field every at-bat.
So this 2-out rally continues for Texas. 4 straight have reached. 3 hits, including a couple of run-scoring hits from Aiden Robbins and Anthony Pack Jr. Right now, 3 runs feels like 30 against Dylan Valances, the way he's going. Here's Adrian Rodriguez, switch hitter batting right-handed. Flies it out to right field. Jacob Parker camps under, makes the play, and the inning is over. But 4 straight reach with 2 outs for Texas. Longhorns add on to this lead. It's 3-0 after 5. Dylan Valances back to work. 5 shutout innings for the Texas starter. Just 3 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. And this is how good he's been in the SEC. 3rd lowest earned run average, top 5 in strikeouts per 9, and 7th in walks and hits per innings pitched. Mississippi State able to get a little bit of traffic against Valances, put 2 in scoring position in the 5th inning, but Valances left them at 2nd and 3rd base. Ace Reese will try and figure out Valances. He struck out twice against the left-hander and whiffs through the first pitch here. Big bat scheduled for the 6th inning as Mississippi State now chases 3 runs, and Ace Reese the only player in the SEC with 15 homers and 15 doubles. He leads the SEC with 18 doubles. After spending his freshman year at Houston, the newcomer of the year in the conference, was an All-American last year. And among some elite company, D. Kennedy having a big year in the Big 12 at K-State, and Landon Hairston at Arizona State has been nicknamed Harry Bonds because they say they haven't seen a left-hand hitter showcase the power that Hairston has since Barry Bonds was in college at Arizona State.
This is a tough matchup for Ace Reese. I mean, Dylan Valances is a tough matchup for a lot of batters. But that lefty on lefty, ball coming out of the sky with the break on it, it's tough for him to stay on that.
We'll count on Reese, Noah Sullivan, Blake Beavis to follow. This is 2-3-4 for Mississippi State in the top of the 6th. Coming into the night, left-handed hitters had batted just a $185 against Dylan Valances. As Reese into the overshift, backhanded by Mendoza, long throw. And Borba was able to keep his foot on the bag, and Mississippi State is urging Brian O'Connor to challenge. That was close.
That was real close. I think Mendoza had a little bit more time.
Is challenging the play at first. This call is under further review.
I think Mendoza had a little bit more time than what he thought on that play, and Casey Borba was trying to hustle to get to the bag, and he couldn't get his footwork in place. If you look right here, if he sets himself, he has an easy throw, but he tried to rush it, and it looked like a little bang-bang play over at first as far as the timing for Casey Borba.
And Mendoza probably had another second or so to gather himself and throw it. And tough to tell. It did look like the right foot of Borba slipped off the bag before the ball was in his glove.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with you on that one. I think the
I'm
call
not
on
making
the
an
field,
official prediction by any means, because my career winning percentage on these is pretty low. But
well, this is the first time that you and I have worked together,
yes.
so your streak starts over.
Okay.
So I'm not going to let you have that one by yourself. We're in this thing together.
Well.
Oh, different angle.
See, now you see why I'm so bad at this. I mean, that might be all the crew needs to keep the call on the field as it is. An out at first base. And here comes the call from the umpiring crew. This should stand. Great angle from our crew. Jake Williamson, our producer. Daniel DePoe, our director tonight.
The call of out at first base is upheld. Mississippi State loses the challenge. They have one challenge remaining.
Well, Casey Borba is a first baseman by trade. Kept it on there just long enough.
And when you say just long enough, you mean just long enough. Wow. I still believe that Mendoza will understand that he did have a little bit more time when they get a chance to look at it.
One down in the sixth as Ace Reese has gone 0 for 3 against Dylan Volantis tonight. And here's Noah Sullivan, who's got one of the 3 Bulldog hits. Infield single back in the first inning. Sullivan, the designated hitter, in year 2 at Mississippi State after 3 years at USC Upstate in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Previously a two-way player and has not pitched in a game this season.
As you mentioned, he's got the Raleigh Fingers mustache, so that might be a way to get back on the mound.
It's popped up into foul territory and drifting back into the seats. I almost asked Ruger Riojas, who has a mustache himself, what he thought of Noah Sullivan's, but Dylan Volantis made such quick work of Mississippi State in that half inning. We were talking to Ruger Riojas that we didn't really get a chance to ask him. And Ruger's got a good one. It's just not curled up. I mean, the Hail State fans have tried to mimic what Noah Sullivan has growing above his upper lip. Just off the inside. 2-2 as Volantis nears 100 pitches. Now, who does it better? Is it Noah Sullivan or Noah Sullivan's biggest fan?
Heard someone call it lip salad.
Lip salad.
Yeah, a little lip lettuce.
I like that better. Lip lettuce.
Have you ever grown a mustache?
I'll be honest, I don't even know if I'm capable.
Really? Let's try it.
What is it, a no-shave November? A handful of
up.
months from now?
Yep.
Hit hard to third. Becerra has it, snaps the throw across, dug out by Borba. A couple of nice plays made by Casey Borba around first base here in the top of the sixth. 2 down.
I think you can do it. I think there's a possibility of you being able to grow a little stash.
You know, the facial hair gets to about day 3 or 4, and then it starts to get really itchy, and then I just get rid of it.
I'll
Maybe
try
I
to
need
see if I can get mine.
some
to grow
beard
a little.
oil. Is that
Maybe
what they say?
Yeah, that
helps?
would stop it from being itchy. That'll give you a chance to see if it can grow.
Maybe if I start now, by the start of the Men's College World Series, I can get a little fill.
Let's try it.
If we get some social media push, I might be down. 2 outs here for Blake Beavis, who twice has struck out against Dylan Volantis tonight. Volantis north of 100 pitches for just a 3rd time this season. 102, which he's at right now, is his current season high. Did that against Mississippi State's arch rival, Ole Miss, back in mid-March. So this next pitch will be a new career high in a single game for the sophomore Dylan Volantis. And it misses for ball 3. Texas does have a left-hander throwing in the home bullpen. And it's a 4-pitch walk. It's the second base on balls issued by Volantis tonight. And a 2-out base runner for Mississippi State in the 6th. Mississippi State, their offense at times has scuffled against ranked competition. Still more than 5 runs a game, which more times than not with Tomas Valinkis on the bump will get the job done. Against unranked competition, more than 7 runs a game in conference play with a 9-3 record. Jacob Parker was scheduled, but Brian O'Connor will go to his bench here. And it's the brother of Tomas Valinkis, Vitas Valencius. Yes, they do pronounce their last names differently. They are full brothers, but the way Tomas says his last name, the way Vitas says his last name, and the way their mother says her last name, all different.
I've never, ever in my life seen anything like that. All from the same family.
Vitas, a 50er from Lockport in Illinois, same hometown as Tomas. Spent the last couple of years in the Big Ten at Illinois, 2nd team all-conference with the Fighting Illini in his home state last year. And followed his brother to Mississippi State for his final college season as he taps the 0-1 pitch foul. It's 0-2.
The media push for your mustache has started.
Has it?
Folks have said it. They said get them to do it. Get them to grow it.
Mustache May off to a good start. 0-2 here on the pinch hitter. It ought to be tough to come off the bench and try and figure out the deceptive delivery of Dylan Volantis. On 1-2. Strike 3 called on the outside edge. A dozen for Dylan Volantis, who matches his career high. And 6 scoreless tonight against number 10 Mississippi State.
Best conference tournament in all of college baseball.
Run straight for the breakaway.
Let's get to Hoover.
Less than 3 weeks away from the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover, Alabama. Coverage begins on the SEC Network May 19th. And if the season were to end right this minute, this is what the tournament would look like. With both Texas and Mississippi State in the top 4, they would earn a double bye to the quarterfinal round. New pitcher for Mississippi State as Tomas Valinkis' night comes to an end. It's another freshman southpaw, Maddox Miller, The 6'4" out of Hattiesburg in Mississippi. Was a D1 baseball top 50 freshman coming into the season. His father, Matt Miller, appeared in 100 career games in the big leagues with the Colorado Rockies and Cleveland Indians back then, 2003 to 2007, had a 2.72 career earned run average. And certainly some frustration from Tomas Valinkis, who would like to have some of those 2-out pitches back when Texas had 4 straight reach and struck for a couple runs in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching that young man pitch, the way he was aggressive around the strike zone. He has nothing to hang his head about because his competitive nature was on point today. Very, very impressive outing for that young man. Think about it. Texas has got 3 runs on only 4 hits, and they all came in late in the ballgame.
Only 1 hit for the Longhorns through the first 4 innings. Nothing doing with 2 outs in the 5th before 4 straight reached, and the Longhorns were able to push across a pair of insurance runs. And through 6 innings of this baseball game, it's been more than enough for Dylan Volantis, who's through 6 scoreless innings tonight, matching a career-high 12 strikeouts. Ethan Mendoza, a double and run scored back in the 2nd. On 3-1 from Miller, and he takes off the inside. It's ball 4. Leadoff base runner for Texas here in the home half of the 6th. Well, Maddox Miller has been very tough on opposing hitters of late. Has not allowed a run in more than a month. Got to go back to March 13th. Last time he allowed an earned run. Scoreless across his last 9 appearances, including a win last time on Tuesday against Ole Miss, inning in a 3rd against the Rebels, and was given his 4th win of the season. Temo Becerra fouls the first one away. Becerra went 0 for 2 against the starter Valinkis. Ethan Mendoza at first base, 9 stolen bags, has not been caught yet this season. By the way, Vitas Valencius, who pinch hit for Jacob Parker in the top half of the frame, stays in the game and plays right field for Mississippi State. So we lose a Valinkis, but we gain a Valencius.
That is very true.
Younger brother's out, big bro's in. They come from a Lithuanian background, and both have spent some time playing for the Lithuanian national team.
Still an interesting story about the pronunciations.
I thought it was a typo looking at the game notes. With all due respect to the sports information department at Mississippi State, I thought, there's no way.
Right. Yeah, you and I had a discussion about it. I was like, I didn't even think about it.
Another toss over to first base to check on Mendoza. Runs and hits have been at a premium tonight. No runs on 3 hits for the Diamond Dogs, 3 runs on 4 hits for Texas. Maddox Miller in front of Temo Becerra, and again goes to first base.
Trying to keep them close.
A bouncer back to Miller. To second for one. On to first. It's a double play. A little miscommunication as to who is going to cover the bag at second. Mississippi State turns two.
It was a great play, too, by those two getting into the middle of the field. Normally, you've already had the communication on who's getting the ball. He throws it on top of the bag, turned it into a 1-4-3 double play. Good transition and great for this Mississippi State team.
2 out, space is empty as Ashton Larson takes the first one off the outside. Larson brought home the night's first run, an RBI ground out in the second. The designated hitter for Texas tonight, now 11 RBIs on the season. It'll be up to the Texas bullpen to take this thing to the finish line. Dylan Volantis did his job through 6 spectacular innings.
You talked about Maddox Miller and what he's done in the last, month, and what he's been able to do on the mound. It's been very impressive, and there is some of the reasoning behind it. Him being able to get a double play in a situation that he wanted to make sure his team was able to stay in play.
Great effort from Garrick Fry to prevent that ball from rolling into the outfield, but no chance to throw out Ashton Larson, who reaches on a 2-out infield hit. We'll give way to Casey Borba with 2 outs in the inning. Borba was hitless in 2 at-bats against the starter Valinkis. Just about everybody that sees significant time for Texas capable of stealing a base, and Mississippi State, they've been very focused on these Longhorn base runners tonight. As Borba takes ball 1. Good off-speed pitch from the freshman southpaw. No shortage of young lefties on this Hale State squad, huh?
Well, one of the things that you mentioned was the off-speed pitch and what he was able to do. He's been very consistent so far with that off-speed pitch, and you talked about his ability to get out of innings and make things happen. I love the fact that he's able to throw that off-speed pitch with confidence anytime he wants to.
Kicks away from Maluski, and up to second goes Ashton Larson. See Texas, they take those big secondary leads, and anything that scoots just a few feet away from Maluski tonight, they've gone ahead and taken the extra base.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. When you see the ball down and you see the catcher go to his knees, you want to try to get a good jump. We saw that happen with Mississippi State, and then Texas did the same thing.
On the inside edge, 2-2 on Borba. Texas 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. And that's low. Maddox Mansour would be next. Right over the heart of the plate, strike 3 called. And another scoreless frame turned in by the southpaw Maddox Miller. as we head to the late innings tonight on the 40 acres. Another dazzling outing tonight from Texas ace Dylan Volantis, who matched a career high with 12 strikeouts across 6 scoreless against Mississippi State.
And he's thrown the most pitchers in a ball game for any Texas Longhorn pitcher this season. He faced 23 guys, strike out 12. That's an impressive night, especially only walking 2 and making sure that it is a shutout with the curveball, the fastball, and the cutter. We got a chance to see all of those pitches tonight.
Volantis will be a spectator the rest of the way, averaging now a ridiculous 17.5 strikeouts per 9 innings across his last 3 starts, all as the Friday night guy since being moved up in the weekend rotation. Hayden LeFew takes over, the junior from Kannapolis in North Carolina, transfer from Wake Forest.
Big lefty with a strong arm, and he's the guy that they have been falling in love with coming out of that pen. This is his 13th appearance, but you start to look at the strikeout to walk ratio and the 2.45 ERA. This is a big moment for him in this matchup.
Well, I think Mississippi State is excited to see somebody other than Dylan Volantis. Bryce Chance takes a called strike. He's got one of the 3 Bulldog hits, a single in the 5th. The only time in this game that Mississippi State had a base runner to open an inning. Bryce Chance got all the way to third base before Volantis left him there. And LeFew not wasting any time. He's in front here, 0-2.
LeFew rearing back and just letting it go.
Brian O'Connor, no stranger to Hayden LeFew. Those 2 in the ACC the last couple of years, and LeFew as a freshman started and lost against Virginia. 2 2/3 innings against Brian O'Connor's Cavaliers. Gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs. 2-2 here on Bryce Chance.
Running that fastball 92 miles an hour on the inner half of that plate. Tried to get under the hands of Chance.
To the shortstop, Adrian Rodriguez for the first out. Well, A-Rod, as they call him around these parts, throws out Bryce Chance to open up the Hail State half of the 7th.
Got a chance to range to his glove side. Got up the middle with a quick transfer to get the ball out. Strong throw to first base. Got a little bling around his neck. A little burnt orange bling around it.
We're starting to see pitchers show a little more swag these days with some of the chains and the jewelry.
Shine bright like a diamond.
I mean, that is pretty sweet. Where'd he get that? Ben Baller?
Possibly. Around these parts is Johnny Dang.
1-2 here on Aiden Teal. Infield hit back in the 2nd for the Mississippi State center fielder. Doesn't go after that one.
Start to look at the movement. You talked about Volantis and his breaking ball. Looks like he's throwing a ball that's kind of tailing away from everybody. Maybe a big time cutter or late slider.
He puts away Teal. 2 outs. 13th strikeout for Texas pitching tonight.
That curveball straight off the top. Came right off the top of it. Just broke it right across the plate. Took Teal to his knees for the strikeout.
2 outs for Kevin Malewski, the catcher. Sends a line drive into left field, and that's headed for the corner. First extra base hit for Mississippi State tonight. And that's just what Malewski does. He's got 9 extra base hits on the season among just 18 hits in total. So half of his hits have gone for extra bases now.
Well, and you look at how he got this ball elevated. He came back with the curveball, stayed up, nice swing, and he gets a chance to drive the ball. First pitch, being able to hit a double off of a breaking ball on the first pitch. You had to be looking for it, and he got it. Great swing right there.
7th double of the year for Malewski. And here's Ryder Woodson trying to turn things back to the top of the order. .32 runs scored for the Bulldogs in their 3-game sweep of LSU last weekend, looking for their first here in the late innings tonight against Texas in this series opener. Big swing and a miss through a high fastball. It's 1-2.
You said a high fastball, 91 miles an hour. Couldn't catch up to it.
Strikeout number 2 for LeFew as he leaves the 2-out double at second base and keeps the shutout intact for Texas as we stretch tonight at UFCU Disch-Falk Field. Friday night in the SEC on the out-of-town scoreboard, shutout wins for Georgia and Alabama. Crimson Tide walked off Vandy last night, and they have now clinched the series against the Commodores, who continue to spiral downward into the final month of the regular season. Arkansas put 12 on Ole Miss to lift the lid off that series in Fayetteville. And Oklahoma State a 1-run victory over the Florida Gators 4-3 earlier tonight in Norman. The scheduled first pitch time was pushed back an hour because of some of the inclement weather in the area. But we got underway a little after 7:30, and some really good pitching on display tonight, headlined by Dylan Volantis, who went 6 shutout innings with 12 strikeouts.
We came in expecting that from both of the starters, and that's what a lot of people were talking about, was this pitching matchup. Now the offenses had to go to battle, and they were trying their best. Texas got the run early in the 2nd inning, was able to make it happen, but Dylan Volantis, as you mentioned, was the story of the evening.
This is Maddox Miller against Maddox Mansour. Mansour started that 2-out rally in the 5th inning with a single, and then had a stolen base and came around to score as he floats this one down the left field side, but it's foul.
Sounded good off the bat. It just kept drifting foul.
Second inning of work for the Southpaw, trying to keep his scoreless streak alive, as not allowed a run since mid-March. After Mansour, back to the top of the order for Texas. Aiden Robbins, Carson Tinney will bat next on 1-2. That's lifted into the shallow outfield. The shortstop Ryder Woodson makes the catch for the first out. OPS, on base plus slugging, and Aiden Robbins, along with Carson Tinney and Anthony Pack Jr., top 3rd of the lineup card for Jim Schlossnagle, joining some pretty good company in the SEC.
You know, you look at those top 3 and you're like, wow, that's impressive. But then you get down to the 4, 5, and 6, and you get a chance to see what Texas offense has been able to do. And again, we talked about it. The top of the offense, no doubt, one of the best in the country. It's the bottom part that really needs to get it going for Texas to be a serious contender in Omaha.
Top third of the order has done a good chunk of the heavy lifting tonight. Got 2 of the 3 RBIs. Anthony Pack Jr. has been on base 3 times. Robbins waves and misses. 0-2. And he strikes out swinging. Second strikeout from Maddox Miller, and 2 down in the Texas 7th.
We talked earlier about his off-speed pitch, that changeup, and he's really comfortable throwing it at any point in the account. And for the way that location was down, you look at what Robbins is doing, swinging hard to try to drive the ball out of the park, but that changeup and pulled the string on him.
Carson Tenney bats with 2 down. Hit by a pitch his last time in the 5th inning. Tenney leads the team, has been plunked 9 times this year. He's also launched 9 home runs in his last 13 games. 2 of those on Tuesday, including a walk-off blast to help Texas survive against Sam Houston. Another tough midweek opponent awaits the Longhorns after this series, with UTSA making the short trip up to Austin on Tuesday. A rematch of last year's Austin Regional, won by the Roadrunners. 2-2. UTSA having another nice year atop the American Conference again. Swing and a miss. 1-2-3 7th for Maddox Miller, and he strikes out Aiden Robbins and Carson Tenney. Well, Ace Reese has been one of the top hitters in the SEC this season and had his power on display last weekend at the Dude. Launched home runs in all 3 games against LSU.
As you mentioned, Ace Reese is a guy that a lot of folks are excited about in this year's draft. Obviously, at Mississippi State, he's done an unbelievable job. And he, too, might be a guy that's excited to see that Dylan Volantis is no longer on the mound.
Instead, it's Hayden LeFew, who worked a scoreless 7th inning, but this is a deep drive to left field, headed towards the corner. It's gone. Garrick Fry breaks up the shutout with a solo blast to left.
Power is definitely on display. We've been talking all night about the wind and how the ball is not going to carry out to left or to center field, but he jumped all over that and blasted that out to the left field foul pole, and I believe it hit right off of it.
If it didn't, it came close, but the way it ricocheted back in, and now the umpires are gathering together, they may review this. And no challenge or contest from Texas. It's just a crew chief review, and we'll get a look at where that ball landed. 361 feet from home plate, and you're right, it did hit up against the foul pole. Well, Texas is challenging it, I guess. Usually this just comes from the umpiring crew to look at the home run, but apparently Texas challenging. And the field dimensions here are interesting. When you get down to that left field foul pole, there's an uptick in the height of the fence right next to the 340 marker in front of the visiting bullpen here, and it looked like it may have hit off the very top of that wall and then hit the foul pole, which would still be a home run.
Yeah, I strongly believe that this is a home run. Kind of like what you talked about. It looked like it hit right off of the foul pole and came right back down. And I didn't see Anthony Pack Jr. protest it or act like it wasn't. And you can look at their bullpen. They're really excited about it. So I think this will be a quick decision.
If it does stand, it's the 8th home run of the year for Garrett Fry.
Home run is upheld. This is a crew chief challenge, so Texas does not lose a challenge.
Okay, well, they told us it was a Texas challenge, and apparently it's not.
Yeah, because I was thinking, too, in the 8th inning, it's automatically the crew chiefs that have to make that call.
Crew chief review, somehow not confirmed. That's a big boost for Mississippi State. This is just a 2-run game. And here's Ace Reese.
He's not waiting around on that first pitch and jumped all over it to get on the scoreboard.
We're talking about Ace Reese's home runs, and Garrett Fry said, "Don't forget about me." Reese hitless in 3 at-bats tonight against the starter Volantis as he takes strike 1 from Hayden LeFew. First home run all year allowed by Hayden LeFew. As Reese comes up empty, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Three infielders to the right of second. 2-2. Ace Reese, oftentimes the difference maker for Mississippi State. They struggled in their losses, excelled in their wins. And he takes ball 3.
It's a great take right there. You've been battling, you got 2 strikeouts today. Most of the time, you try to get out of character and jump all over a pitch. He did a great job laying off.
Another full count pitch coming from Hayden LeFew, his 2nd inning out of the Texas bullpen in relief of Dylan Volantis. Swinging a bouncing ball foul. .43 career home runs for Ace Reese between his time at Houston, now his 2nd year at Mississippi State. Another payoff pitch from LeFew. And it's upstairs. Mississippi State will bring up the possible tying run as Ace Reese extends his on-base streak to 11 games.
Mississippi State trying to create that magic that they had last weekend. Trying to find a way to get it done.
Out comes Max Weiner, the pitching coach, with Noah Sullivan scheduled. Sullivan has a lot of power himself, 45 career home runs across 5 seasons of college baseball. Something's got to give this weekend. Mississippi State, they score a bunch of runs. They average more than 8.5 a game. Texas, they don't allow many runs. They average only 4 runs against them. Bulldogs have won 9 straight after being swept in back-to-back weekends by Georgia and Tennessee. Here's Sullivan representing the possible tying run. That's in there for a strike.
Talked about Sullivan's power. It's one of those moments where you try to get yourself one pitch, one spot, and see if you can tie this game up.
Garrick Fry opened the inning with a solo home run that banged off the foul pole and left. And Ace Reese walked. Noah Sullivan has looked at a couple strikes here, and he finds himself at 0-2.
Big breaking ball by LeFew.
The southpaw in the driver's seat. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 called over the inner third. Big punch out for LeFew as he sits down Sullivan on 3 pitches.
Started to look at it, you saw that big breaking ball, so you're, as a hitter, you're thinking, okay, I might get that back, but he runs a fastball on the inner third and just kind of froze Sullivan in that moment.
Here's the cleanup hitter, Blake Beavis, taking strike 1. Beavis hit 18 home runs at Ball State last year, only 5 this season. 46 in his college career. A lot of accomplished veteran hitters and the big part of the order for Mississippi State. Beavis knocked in 7 runs last weekend against LSU and did hit a home run against the Tigers. Bouncing ball left side past Rodriguez. A base hit for Beavis. And the tying run on base for Mississippi State.
Trying to get a little bingo action going here. Finding a way to continue to battle through every at-bat. And as you mentioned, got the tying run on first base and got the lead run coming in to the plate.
And Schloss is going to make a change. Well, top of the order making some noise here for number 10 Mississippi State. They have broken up the shutout, and they'll bring up the possible go-ahead run as they knock Hayden LeFew out of this game. Number 25 Florida, number 15 Oklahoma play the second game of a big 3-game series tomorrow night at Kimry Family Baseball Stadium in Norman. We'll have it for you right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Mississippi State making things interesting in the top of the 8th inning tonight. Garrick Fry a home run off Hayden LeFew to give the Bulldogs their first run. Ace Reese has walked. Blake Beavis has singled. And in comes the right-hander Thomas Burns for Texas.
Thomas Burns, an absolute flamethrower out of the bullpen. This is a guy that has had moments this year where he's been kind of up and down, but lately he's been on the positive side of every appearance. You start to look at these appearances, his last 5 pitching performances and appearances, he's been able to fill up the strike zone. You look at it, 6 1/3, 1 run, 1 hit, 13 strikeouts. And you look at those first 9, 17 strikeouts. He's almost to that number in his last 5. And I know Longhorn fans are looking for him to do that right now.
Second year at Texas for Thomas Burns, the Hortonville, Wisconsin native, who was a starting pitcher his freshman year at Arizona State. Teammates with Ethan Mendoza in Tempe. Both of them transferred over to Texas when Jim Schlossnagle was hired here in Austin. And 15th appearance of the year for Burns. who's got 3 saves and faces Vitas Valencias. His second plate appearance of the game. He pinch hit for Jacob Parker in the 6th and struck out against Dylan Valencias. Got a chance to get his little bro off the hook here. Good swing on that one.
I think he heard you. Trying to help his little bro get off the hook. Big swing right there.
He does have 2 homers this year. The well-traveled Vitas Valencias, who's back in the SEC where he started his college career at South Carolina. And went to junior college the last 2 years at Illinois. Nice block from Carson Tinney to keep the base runners right where they are. Now spike the 95-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, he can run it up there. There's been times this season that he's gotten up to 98, 99 miles per hour. So he has it in him, but it needs to be 60 feet 6 inches.
Two and 2.
Looked like it had a little slide piece action to that. Especially going from 95 miles an hour to 85.
See if he goes back to that pitch or goes back to the heater on 2 and 2. Swinging a bouncing ball foul. Valencia stays alive. Bryce Chance on deck. Big spot for Mississippi State. There haven't been many scoring opportunities tonight. The Bulldogs 0 for 5 as a team with runners in scoring position. Trying to come through here in the 8th. Another 2-2 from Burns. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 down.
Thomas Burns, big power pitcher, but you can see right here him throwing that slider right over the top for strike 3. Big swing, big miss for strike 3.
2 on, 2 out, and here's Bryce Chance, who's 1 for 3. Chance starting to heat up. He's been a big piece of this 9-game winning streak for Mississippi State. Very tough hitter to strike out as he puts this one in play. A slow bouncer to Mendoza. Quick toss to first in time to end the inning. Mississippi State threatens, but they settle for the 1 run on the solo shot off the bat of Garrick Fry. It's a 2-run lead for Texas. Lots of talented freshmen in the SEC this season, including Anthony Pack Jr., who extended his hitting streak to 17 games earlier tonight. Nico Partita, Jacob Parker of Mississippi State, and Will Craddock of South Carolina headline the SEC stars this year.
Those young guys are making a name for themselves and finding a way to get it done. You look at Nick Partita, a lot of that power is home runs. I mean, the guy, every time he comes up to the plate, he's a threat to make something happen. And then, of course, obviously Anthony Pack Jr., what he's been able to do. We saw Jacob Parker earlier in the ball game. So there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of star power with these young guys as they're trying to find their way.
Jack Gleason takes over for Mississippi State. Another freshman comes out of that Bulldog bullpen. They redshirted last year, stuck around through the coaching change, and tonight his 19th appearance.
Look at that strikeout to walk ratio. That's impressive right there.
Texas, after Mississippi State was able to strike for a run in the top half of the inning, will try and get it back. Anthony Pack Jr. has been on base 3 more times tonight with a pair of walks and a run-scoring single. A lot of buzz around the country that this could be the National Freshman of the Year after Dylan Volantis took home those honors last season.
You know, you don't just get that award, you got to earn that award. And what he's been able to do, we saw it tonight, batting third in this lineup for the University of Texas, the way he goes about his business every single day. You look at those numbers, being on base, being consistent, and the fact that he hasn't missed a ball game. That's the impressive part to me.
What do they say this time of year? Your best ability is your availability.
And he's been available all season long.
Adrian Rodriguez, Ethan Mendoza to follow. Texas 3 runs on 5 hits tonight.
Plate awareness, being able to be disciplined, not to chase balls out of the zone. He works. He works.
Hit hard, backhanded by Beavis, who taps first base for the first out.
Good play by Beavis over there, staying down on that ball and beating him to the bag.
Adrian Rodriguez 0 for 2 with the sac bunt tonight. Bouncing ball right side. Beavis has this one. And the underhand feed to Gleason for the second out. Sam Cozart, the freshman right-hander, heating up in the Texas bullpen.
I don't think people really understand how tough that play was right there at first base. He ranged far to his right, Beavis that is, and was able to flip that to Gleason on the run as he was getting close to the bag. It's a great play. Underrated play.
Ethan Mendoza on base a couple more times tonight. Has doubled and walked. Well, a double he had back in the second, the only extra base hit of the game for Texas. Another 4 hits have been singles. Line drive to center field, right at Aiden Teal for out number 3. 1-2-3 inning for Gleason. Last chance for number 10, Mississippi State. On the other side with Cozart coming in. All right, tonight's game summary, and well, we have to lead off by talking about the Texas starter, Dylan Volantis, who pitched 6 innings of shutout baseball at 12 punch-outs tonight. Texas took a 1-0 lead to the 5th, had 4 straight reach with 2 outs. Aiden Robbins, Anthony Pack Jr. with run-scoring singles. Mississippi State finally woke up the bats in the 8th inning as Garrett Fry hit one off the left field foul pole to give the Bulldogs their first lead. Mississippi State would threaten for more, but they left 2 on base in the 8th. And here we are in the 9th, series opener of this top 10 matchup. We figured runs would be at a premium tonight, and it's a 3-1 ball game after 8.
And that's what it's all about, especially in this type of matchup. You look at the SEC, these two teams, top 10 matchup, and both starting pitchers went out there and battled. You look at the 6 Ks by Valinkis, and then you get a chance to look at the 12 strikeouts by Dylan Volantis.
Sam Cozart in a save situation. The 6'6" freshman from High Point, North Carolina, already has 6 saves this season. Pitched 5 innings across 2 appearances in Nashville against Vanderbilt last weekend. Bottom third of the batting order scheduled here for Mississippi State. Aiden Teal leads off, then Malewski and Woodson. This is how good the young man Sam Cozart, that they've already nicknamed Clozart here in Austin.
One thing that Coach Schlossnagle has said about Sam Cozart is his ability to get on the mound and want the baseball. There's a lot of guys that think sometimes the moment may be too big for him. Not him. He wants it at any cost.
Grew up in a baseball family. His parents were both college sports stars at UCF. Mom was a volleyball player. His dad played baseball at Central Florida, and at one point was the head coach at High Point in the Big South. Here's the 1-2, and Teal goes down swinging. 1 gone in the 9th. The 17th strikeout for Texas pitching in this game.
Look at him with that split finger and the ability to get that ball to go downhill. He has so much confidence in every single pitch that he throws, especially for a young guy.
Dylan Volantis, who started this game, he was the big arm at the back end of Texas bullpen last season, and Sam Cozart has almost been a right-handed Dylan Volantis at the back end this year. Facing Kevin Malewski here. So does that mean Cozart's going to jump in the weekend rotation next year and be one of the top pitchers in the SEC?
I wouldn't put it past him from what I've seen so far from him.
He's in front of Malewski, 0-2.
I mean, look at that beard. We were talking about you trying to grow facial hair. Look at what that young man has.
I've got more than a decade on him. Missed with the sweeper off the outside. Mississippi State a base runner away from bringing up the possible tying run, but base runners have not been easy to come by against the true freshman Sam Cozart. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. 2 down.
The composure by a young man that is a true freshman, that every time he gets an opportunity, you see that slider right there for strike 3.
Ryder Woodson was scheduled, but Brian O'Connor has gone to Reed Stallman there with 2 outs in the 9th, trying to give the top of the order another chance in this game. Backdoor breaking ball just off the outside. That one does hit the outside edge. Reed Stallman from Robbins, Iowa. Fifth year in his second season at Mississippi State. Bulldogs down to their final strike tonight. The crowd comes to its feet here on the 40 acres. Here's the 1-2. Strike three called on the outside edge. Cozart punches out the side in order in the ninth and slams the door shut on Mississippi State. And Texas matches its season high with 19 strikeouts in a series opening win over the Bulldogs.
You start to look at coming out of the bullpen, the way you win ball games is to not give up leads. What did he come in and do? Strike out the side in the ninth and close the door on a team with Mississippi State, the number 10 ranked team in the nation. Great work by Sam Cozart, great work by Dylan Volantis, and of course the Texas Longhorns get the win.
A couple shy of 1,500 conference wins for Texas baseball program that has such rich history, and Jim Schlossnagle has quickly gotten them back on track here in his first two seasons. Mississippi State's 9-game winning streak comes to an end, and well, the storyline tonight, it's all about the Texas pitching.
Especially when you sit there and you talk about matching with 19 strikeouts in a ball game. That is something that as a hitter and going into the weekend, you start to really go back and look at your tape and try to figure out what can we do to come back the next day and go up against this Texas pitching. But the beautiful thing about it is baseball, you always have the next day.
A quick turnaround with a 2 o'clock Central Time start tomorrow. We'll have it for you here on SEC Network Plus. So number 4, Texas takes the opener of this top 10 SEC clash to 30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. The first pitch tomorrow on the SEC Network Plus. For Mike Harge, our producer Jake Williamson, director Daniel DePoe, I'm Chris Sylvester saying so long from UFCU, Disch Falk Field in Austin. The Longhorns win it 3-1 tonight at home.